Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only podcast where the generations are at each other's throats, but that's okay. I'm Alice Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me today?
I'm Dino, the genetic marvel. I have an opinion on everything, and I will let you know. And our guest today is once again Liz Fletcher. Hi, Liz.
Woo! How's it going? I'm Gen X, and we don't care about your feelings.
So is he.
I know, it's so nice. So the month of October, Liz, I was working at a Halloween event that was held in a castle. Now, oddly, the castle is notoriously haunted. However, the Halloween stuff was all on the outside, which I'm like, I feel like you could have gotten two birds with one stone, throw in some real ghosts. It's more like, I'm of the opinion that if something happened at a Halloween haunt, like if somebody died the next year, I'd be like, I gotta go. Someone died last year. Like, that's awesome, right? Like,
it's quite literally putting a hat on a hat. Like you're putting a haunted house on an already haunted house.
Right. Like, and like the castle is it's in Toronto. The whole thing it was built, and it's a beautiful castle. It's got like hidden walls, secret doorways, like a real castle. And when the guy who built it couldn't pay the taxes, the city took it from him, which you're like, I mean, son of a bitch, right? But now there's like a restaurant, you can go on tours. I remember when I was we were looking at venues with my ex-wife when we were first married, we were first dating. We went with another couple to Casa Loma, and we were like, oh, we were thinking of getting our wedding done here. Can we just walk around? They're like, oh yeah, sure, just go ahead. So we didn't pay, and we toured the whole place. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying $30 to walk around somebody else's house. That's ridiculous to me.
I love the idea of the guy coming back after losing his house, and then he's like, I have to pay to look at my old house again.
Yeah.
He's walking around being like, this is where I used to keep my bookshelf. This is that time I shat my pants that one time.
And this is the thing is, so the day after we wrapped, I did 25 minutes at an old age home the following day, and I just told them stories about how I made people poop and pee their pants. And I'll tell you, old people love that when it's somebody else. They just,
For once, it's not old Silas.
Casa Loma would not be a convention. It wouldn't.
Did they pee and poop their pants too? But it might not have had anything to do with you.
Yeah, well, so, and this, I explained it to them, who said hola? Hola, yeah. TSB guy, hola. But yeah, this is the year before. I even told people that, I'm like, because I was at a different venue, and I was like, I definitely made two guys poop their pants, but at the same time, they were a little older, and they had one in the chamber, so I'm like, I can't really take full credit for it, but they definitely happened. And then this past year,
chamber.
They were eating cheese sticks in the line.
I mean, listen, shout out to lactose intolerance.
Lactose intolerant.
I understand. I love cheese. That's fair. It's but like the wild thing was this past time, I told a story about how two gentlemen were coming along, and like I was at the front gate before the box office, okay, and I was just standing there, and all I do is I growl at people, and I stare at them, and I'm like, I just make them uncomfortable, and because of my size, they kind of have to like go sideways around me, and I'm like, that's the thing, is like the best part about a scary environment is just making people do things that they're uncomfortable with. So like staring in their eyes, having to buy pieces. Like I'm 6'2" ish, a little bit up. I don't know. But I'm also 270 pounds. So I look terrifying on like a Sunday afternoon in the park. People are like, that's a murderer. Don't go near that guy. That guy murders people, right? So when I'm in full garb, the first night somebody walked up and they were like, they saw me and they're like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And they're like, we already bought tickets. She's just like, no, you guys go. I'll meet you at the end. They're like, but we already paid for your tickets. She's like, I don't care. If he's there, I'm not crossing his path.
See,
like I was like that.
I had the opposite effect where Liz, your former place of employment, did a haunted house, and I went through it. And like at the beginning, someone did like a jump scare, and they said "boo, bruh," and I was like, "What?" And I was so caught off guard by how Gen Z that was for them to do that I couldn't take the rest of the haunted house seriously.
Yeah.
Blood machines, strobe lights, come in if you dare. I'm like, somebody said boo bruh to me. I can't take this seriously.
Which, yeah, you're just like, well, I don't even understand. I don't like that. And this, I explained to some of the young people, like, cause so last night we had a rap party, and which I was like, I just, just started talking and making fun of everybody. It was great. But I was talking with some of the young people because on our training and orientation day, fine.
Right.
Like a lot of them are theater people, right? So they're like, okay, be scary. So they're like, "Arr!" And I'm like, that's not scary.
No.
This is scary. I'm terrified. And they're like,
what about a show-stopping musical number? And you're like,
100, bro. Every day we got ready, there'd be girls who are like, I have to practice my singing. They're like, la, 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 la. And I'm like, you just, I don't know, figure that out on your own
Somebody
time.
goes, I'm Gen Z, but I don't know what is skibidi. What is skibidi? I think that's Gen Alpha, and then it got put onto Gen Z, even though they don't do it. Like,
it is not a word. I'll tell you that right now. And the fact that y'all are both shaving your heads in protest of
Halloween costume, and he's bald anyway.
Yeah, I'm just in the process of balding, so I've just I went and got it shaved, and you know what? My wife keeps on rubbing my head for good luck. It's fine. I'm good with it. It's but yeah, I had to explain to them. I'm like, it's weird for me, like, to see people trying to be scary, whereas I just stand there and I'm scary, right?
I feel the same way about myself. I'm only 5'1".
Yeah, no.
Atlas will tell you I can be pretty intimidating.
I was actively afraid of you for like the first third of the year.
It's one of my favorite things about me.
Absolutely. I explained this to my wife. So she has perfected resting bitch face. And there have been times when I like went to visit her at work or bring her something, and I see her talking with somebody. I'm like, hey, do you not like that person? And she's like, no, they're really actually nice. And I'm like, you should probably tell them, because your face says you don't like them at all. Like just in talking with them. And she explained it to me. Yeah, see, she says, I'm proud of my RBF. Yeah, that's fair. But the weird part was, like, so we went to a pub that's like notorious, like, for university students and stuff, for our rap party, which I'm like, okay, that's fine. And like, I walked in, some of the girls that were there, they're like, oh, I get carded to get in. And I was like, I haven't been carded since I was 15. This has been my face the whole time.
You saw his face in the intro. He looks like he's 40 when he's 20. It's
just how it is. Yeah. I made a deal with a wizard. I stopped aging it at 15, but it was already 40, so it's fine. It's and so I'm walking through this place, and I'm like, I got a jacket on and a hoodie, and I'm like, luckily my wife loves me, and she's bought me all these clothes that like breathe and stuff. So I'm like, I wasn't hot or anything. So I'm just walking through, and like, as somebody who used to be 500 pounds, I'm like, people make way for me. And now that I'm, a modest 270, like, I feel like I should wear a sundress half the time. I'm still walking through, and people just get the fuck out of my way, which for me, I'm like, I still got it. Right. But then people are like, are you going to fight somebody? I'm like, no, I'm just walking through. I'm just, just hanging out. It's cool. No problem. But
you just have that imposing presence about you.
Well, we went for breakfast today, and I told Victoria about it, and she was like, well, what do you do with your face when you're just walking through? And I was like, yes. And she was like, yeah, you have resting murder face. And I'm like, I do. I have resting murder face. That's
RMF.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Like, it's definitely worked in my favor through time.
I'd expect you to be in a biker gang.
Absolutely. I mean, like, this is the problem. Like, I was raised with morals and principles because I had two parents. Horrible. And like, that's like, I missed the opportunity. I'm like, I think I would have been a great mob boss, general of a infiltrating army. Definitely, I could have pulled that off. I look like I was like, go kill everyone. Like, I look like I could pull that off. But now I have to be. I'm a man of peace, which I'm like, oh, it's disgusting. It's just, I don't know.
Do you have anything like that where like you feel like you could have become something else if it wasn't for X thing?
Oh, myself personally? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of a lot of fields. I feel like I could have entered. Well, yeah, I have some like family into some, other
shenanigans,
sides of the law type shenanigans. Yeah. I have one of my uncles, my great uncle, It's actually in his obituary. He was a pimp, and his pimp name was Cinderella. So in his obituary it reads Albert Cinderella Fletcher, which I think is
now with no context. That sounds absolutely insane.
I love. So I think
context, no context, it's fully insane. I love it.
Management. I'm excellent at people management and building relationships. So I think I would have been an excellent madam, brothel owner. I think that could definitely be in charge of some high level larceny if I had ever decided to enter that realm. Yeah,
like a Mama Morton type.
That's, like, I mean, absolutely. Okay, I love how my wife calls us out. I feel like Atlas and Dino might look like they want to be in a biker gang, but they belong in a Lord of the Rings gang more.
It does, yeah.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. There have been times when she's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I'm not having a good day. I'm going to watch Lord of the Rings. And she just leaves and lets me just watch Lord of the Rings for the rest of the day. Because she's like, you're not going to be worth dealing with. If you're having a Lord of the Rings day, I get it. Just,
I definitely
that leather bag is filled with wizard caps. Huh?
I mean, I do look a little bit like a wizard. That's not actually, I'll tell you a funny story, Liz. I've always told people, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely a wizard. I'm like, just give me the right hat and a cloak, and people are like, definitely a wizard, right? And then one day I was helping my wife. She was going into the office, so I was bringing her work bag out to the car, and to kiss her, to have a good day, like a good house husband does. And as we got out, it was raining. She's locking the door. I look up and I'm like, maybe that's enough for today. And like within 3 seconds, the clouds separated, the rain stopped, and she's just looking at me going, did you just do that? And I'm like, let's not question it. Just get in the car and be thankful there's no more rain. And she's like, that was really, I'm like, just don't ask questions. It just happened. I can control the weather. This was, just be fine with it,
If you guys weren't over 6 feet tall, you'd live the Hobbit life. Sorry.
What?
Yeah.
Let's be real. If you guys weren't 6 feet tall, yeah. Oh, I would love to be a Hobbit. Are you kidding me? Barefoot, chilling out, just smoking all day. And be like, yeah, I'm just hiding in my hill underneath a tree. This is delicious. I have a replica Gandalf pipe that's fully functional. It's like this long. And I think my wife hid it from me somewhere because it is collectible, but also I'm like, I'll use it as a pipe because I'm a gangster. But, at the same time, I definitely want to just pull it out and be like, and just be like, so everyone, I brought you here for wizard shenanigans. It's, 100% accurate.
He could be, you could be a gangster wizard, like on a broom with like the pipe.
Like, I'm at a point, Liz, where I'm like over the last 3.5-4 years, right? I'm losing weight, getting in better shape, and exercising things. And now I've really started ramping up my diet and working out and everything. So like I'm not the lightest I've ever been, but I am the smallest. So like I'm really changing fat for muscle, which is I'm very happy about this. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to go back to wearing a toga. I'm Greek. I could pull it off and just walk around in sheets. And I'm like, I feel like that's a beneficial thing because, bringing it back. And then I'll whip out my giant wizard's pipe and be like, what's up?
Then you look like a cult leader.
I mean, also, I am okay with that. I
pull that off.
I think I could pull off. I think I could pull off like the call me now for your psychic reading.
Oh, oh my God.
Call me now,
Miss Cleo. Yeah,
the cards don't lie. The cards don't lie. Call me now. I think people would call me. I would give great readings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would give great readings. They'd be magnificent.
Just appear in a like puff of smoke out of nowhere. The cards don't lie. That's Irish. That's not.
That is the South will rise again, man. That's fine. It's good.
The cards don't lie.
That's the best part is like, so like I've explained this to Atlas before, Liz, is that thanks Cole. Dino, you are so weird. That's 100% accurate. So where my mom is from is in Greece. It's up in the mountains. It's like a beautiful, like you could have a shit mattress, but you will sleep the best you've ever slept because it's like clean air on the side of a mountain. Is beautiful. But I'm like, that area is also like known for cursing people and telling fortunes and stuff like that. And I'm like, and we would go, and my mom, like if we went for coffee somewhere, my mom would grab our cups and rinse them out so no one would have the chance to read your coffee grounds, right? Or tea leaves or whatever. Because you're like, listen, when you open that door, it's open. It's you have to, and my parents like, listen, you have to respect that exists and bypass it. Otherwise it will just suck you in. But hilariously, like we all woke up in the middle of the night watching TV, and Miss Cleo was like, "I'll tell your fortune," and you're just like, "Jesus, okay, it's on the TV now. I don't know what to do." Right? But that's why I'm like, I always love the idea where, like, last night I was hanging out with all these coworkers and stuff, and they're all young people. And I'll tell you right now, I felt like such a weirdo being there because nobody was within like 10 years of my age, and I'm like, this is weird, right? And
welcome to being a teacher, Dino.
But that's your job. I was there just to like have some drinks and socialize, which I'm like, I can't do that. That's weird, right? And young people just start talking. It's very much worse because young people start talking about weird shit, and you're going, "Oh, do you guys not know how to read a book? Like, what's your problem here? You guys don't understand life at all?" Like, it's very, very disconcerting.
This week, in my film study class, I was going to show Heathers. I got overruled, so I showed Mean Girls instead.
Right.
In there's like a scene where 4 of them are talking on the phone, and it's got like the 4-way box thing going on. And they're like, and one of the characters says, "Hang on, other line," and the kids are like, "What's the other line?" And I had to pause the movie and be like, "Oh my god, okay, all right. Does anyone know what a landline is?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, you know how you'll call someone and then another beep will happen on the phone, and then you hit it and it goes to the other call, but it doesn't hang up on the first one?" And they're like, "I think." And I'm like, it took me 5 minutes to explain the concept of what the other line was. And it was like what's his face, Matt Damon at the end of Saving Private Ryan, where you see him age 50 years in this. Immediately.
Young people will use words, and I'm standing going, I don't understand what that means. And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like,
"Urban Dictionary is your friend." That's all I'm going to say.
Well, when there's words I don't understand, I just text my daughter, and I'm like, "What does it mean? Please explain." So I don't have to go to social media. I don't want my Google search history.
No, right? And that's the thing is, because you can't really trust who still reads books or primitive tech. I mean, they're great for fire. No, the point is this. I'm like, they start talking, and I'm like, "Oh, could you explain that in English?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "None of those words are real. You just made up half of that sentence. It's not."
Ooh, that just gave me a good idea for an assignment. They have to write a paper explaining that. Never mind. All right, I'll think about it.
That is a great assignment because you're like, I'll learn something, and now I actually have to read what you wrote. It's fine. It's good. See, and I told everyone there, I'm like, "Yeah, my wife's a nerd. See, reading is awesome. Nerd." There you go.
Don't you dare cross the legacy of LeVar Burton.
Nerds are awesome.
Oh, LeVar Burton was a hero. There's no question there. Yeah.
I just saw an interview with LeVar Burton. He said the reason that Reading Rainbow was canceled was because of the No Child Left Behind Act.
I don't doubt that.
Because No Child Left Behind was about reading comprehension, there was no room in the budget for a love of reading. So there was no longer a need to fund programs like Reading Rainbow because it wasn't important to teach kids to love reading. It was just to teach them to understand, which they failed at all that shit.
That's true. I think now I want to punch George W. Bush in the face even more.
Okay, Lennox, you have a question? Hit us with your question in the comments, brother. Or sister. I don't know. Lennox seems ambiguous. But like, that's the thing is, reading enhances your ability to critically think and absorb information in different formats, right? Because writing styles are very different, and how they communicate is very different, right? So it only makes sense that, oh, I love this. If tomatoes are fruit, shouldn't they be called ketchup and jelly? So, listen, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is knowing not to include it in a fruit salad. And technically, ketchup is a smoothie, not a jelly.
Yeah, I think jelly is like a different process, isn't it? Like a jam or a marmalade or something.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, listen, but that's tomato. Look, so ketchup, I've stopped eating ketchup because I love ketchup. And I'm like, I would get like, when you get like little cups of ketchup at Wendy's, and I'm like, I would get like a ridiculous amount and dip all my fries to a heinous degree. But you're like, ketchup is no longer ketchup. It's just tomato and sugars. It's not good for you. Whereas like tomatoes, like ketchup used to be a medicine, right? Like that's a real thing. It used to be just like Coca-Cola. And then they had to take out the cocaine, the dirty bastards. LeVar Burton, my emotions. That's
Cole, buddy. And like the thing of Cole earlier in the comments, he said, secret, I've never read a whole book, which one, I don't believe. And second,
comics are still books.
Like absolute catastrophic failure aside, to not want to instill a love in reading in kids is not like, okay. When I was playing music, I played trumpet from 4th through 7th grade, and I hated it the entire time because, well, one, my stated reason was, quote, it didn't get me any chicks.
True.
That's a literal quote from like 5th grade me. But the other reason was I wasn't playing anything I wanted to play.
Also
like
true.
Music I heard in video games or songs that I liked. And then when I picked up guitar and bass guitar, I got to play the songs that I liked, and it was a lot more enjoyable.
Nice.
You see what I'm getting at, right?
100%.
Good.
That's the like, I learned how to play piano for many years, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't find, similarly, like I wasn't playing stuff. I wasn't being taught how to communicate via the medium of music. I was being taught how to recite someone else's work, and I'm like, that's not fun, right? And like right now, I'm actually looking. So for once, Facebook Marketplace has come in handy, and I'm like, I want to buy a clarinet because I want to learn how to play the clarinet. Because in Greek music, a clarinet is a very popular musical instrument, and I'm like, I want to be able to bust it out and ruin someone's perception of me, because I am a huge fan of doing that.
That was my elementary. That was my elementary instrument, the clarinet.
Was it really? Is it hard? It seems like it has a lot of character, and that's why I like it, because it seems like it's very vibrant, and
you hear it in a lot more music than you think you do.
Yeah. I mean, I only lasted about a year. I thought it was cool, but I'm not a music. That's not my interest area, so it didn't stick with me. I'm more of a performance theater, not a music.
That's fair. Atlas, why did you choose the trumpet?
Well, you had to pick something for band class.
Which also, too, like, I recognize that you can't have 40 people playing the drums and another 40 playing the guitar, right? You have to.
I didn't really know what to pick. I just kind of, that one's empty. I'll take it. A used mouth instrument. Your mom's chest hair, Cole. That's my answer to that.
Boom. That's hold on. The only way I could do that was if I had to do a little more work and we'd be happy with it, but you have a hard day and you don't want me working on your day, so you don't. I don't know what that means, Miles.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Miles.
I sent to the wrong chat.
Yeah, Miles, you skipped like 3 steps. Let's give it a break.
Commas, buddy.
Yeah. Figure it out. You have your own reed and mouthpiece, Cole.
Rough.
So
damn, Victoria.
Boom. But yeah, like it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like we're taking a photography class because I have a really cool camera, but I never really, like, I know how to use it, but not how to use it. Right. So now we're trying to learn, and I'm like, so we're on this kick of learning stuff. We've done gem setting. We've done
you're homeschooling.
No, we're taking courses. I don't want to learn at home. This is where I hang out. Oh, it's gross.
You're schooling yourself. That's homeschooling.
Yeah, well, but that's the whole thing, right? Like I'm a firm believer that if you stop learning, you stop learning, and it becomes harder and harder, because there are a lot of people that are in my age category, Liz, probably in yours too, our age category, that they're like, I can't learn anything new. You're like, yeah, that's a problem, because you get into that mode, and then like you just start getting hit and hit and hit. It's kind of like turtling, and you're like thinking that's going to help you. No, you have to fight back. And it's like, when you learn, it pushes your brain to do what's uncomfortable, and if you don't, like, somebody's going to be like skibidi, and you're like, that's not a word, and then everything falls apart.
I mean, like anything, you have to exercise that that part of yourself in order to keep it going. Stop.
Yeah.
You don't want it to.
I learned there was something in linguistics called an egg corn, which is like what it sounds like. It means that things that people use wrong, and then eventually so many people do it for so long, it just becomes the norm. So like it used to be buck naked, but we all say butt naked now.
Horrible.
And then we just said butt naked for long enough that's the way to do it now.
It's absolutely not.
Yeah,
like that. I have.
You can see their butt naked. That makes sense. Like
I've heard it both ways, but I always thought the buck naked would be wrong. Why is the buck naked right? Why is that the original phrase? Please school me.
Let's find out.
Yeah, all right, English guy, you figure that out. In the meantime, no, this is
okay. Fine.
This is my problem. My biggest problem with language is like, and my wife will say words incorrectly, and I'm like, "That's not a word. Can you what are you trying to tell me?" She's like, "Oh, I pronounced it wrong." I'm like, "Okay, pronounce it right. Otherwise, I'm not listening." It aggravates me to no end. I think she does it on purpose a little bit because that's fair. It's reasonable.
We played a word scramble. I had to host a wedding. Bridal shower, and one of the games we played was like unscramble the words. And I said, we have to decide who's the winner. I said, so you have to actually spell the word correctly when you unscramble it. And a few people were like, what? And I was like, if the letters are still scrambled, it's not fucking spelled right. Like it's still, you have to fully unscramble the scrambled words. But yeah.
Hey, that's the same thing with people who talk to their children in baby talk, and they're like, "Oh, I understand what they're saying." And you're like, "No, you're not doing them any favor. If they can't speak properly, you're slowing down their learning. You have to you talk to them like a grown-ass person, and you communicate because it'll teach them how to communicate. Whereas when kids are just like, you're like, no, use your words. That's why I really appreciate that a lot of parents have started to teach their kids sign language. Because the kid might not be comfortable with saying it, but they can sign it. And you're like, that's a start because you're learning how to communicate at least.
I can't say this to you, Mom. I'm not comfortable telling you this, Dad.
All right. So from Washington State University, the standard expression is buck naked, and the contemporary butt naked is an error that will get you laughed at some circles. However, it might be just as well if the newer form were to triumph. Originally, a buck was a dandy, a pretentious, overdressed show-off of a man. So when you're just like, behold, my nakedness.
Right.
Condescendingly applied in the U.S. to Native Americans and black slaves, it quickly acquired negative connotations. So there you go.
That took a fucking turn.
Look, that's
so how buck naked became butt naked, and then like the should have to should have thing, like should have is starting to win out because enough people are doing it, which sucks.
Well, okay, there's the whole problem with do not and don't.
Yeah.
And you're going, like, I know I can barely read, but it's more so that people are abbreviating things for no purpose whatsoever. Like I really, it drives me crazy. Like, especially, so I'm in Toronto, Liz, and here, people have started to speak weirdly. So like they use the word fam, and I'm like, that's no, so outside of the city, like I live in a city that's basically, comparable to something like New York. Like it's a real city with not as much transit as it should have, but it does have transit, highways, things like that.
To the point where they will film in Toronto saying it's New York for like a ton of different movies and TV shows.
Oh, Toronto, Chicago, anything on the East Coast that's a proper city, they're like, yeah, just use Toronto. It's cheaper.
They use New Orleans for a lot of Southern movies, even when it's not the South. New Orleans is Atlanta, Florida, Georgia.
Yeah, they're like, just put a sepia filter, it's fine.
Well, Atlanta's in Georgia.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like the idea that like nothing is real is something that I definitely am like, yeah, no, none of this is real. So just calm down.
Yeah,
well,
stuff changes over time.
But that's the whole thing is like now we have people speaking the same language and you're like, I don't understand anything you're saying, right? So like I grew up in a suburb of Toronto. And so I'm like, I was used to dealing with all sorts of cultures. And then on top of that, I'm Greek. So when I would speak to people in Greek, there are some people who have a very country accent or a very harsh tone and stuff, but you figure it out, right? Because I can hear what you're saying and I just am able to translate in my head. But like now it's a whole other world. Like people use skibidi and I'm like, that's absolutely not.
I feel like we're saying they use it more than they actually use it. I have not run into a single student who has said it unironically or like
I'm see, and I'm worried that it's going to become something that people normally say, and I'm just going to rage quit the conversation and be like, nope, can't talk to you anymore. I'm sorry, gotta go. I just, I don't want to be involved.
I love language. I love the way words change and evolve and meanings and stuff like that. I give my own meanings to words sometimes. So I'm one of those culprits. I'm one of the culprits of change. I'm one of those people who do the shit and will help the language to evolve. And I think brevity is human nature. I think we want to get to a shorter way to say things. So I mean, that's why we have contractions and expressions and colloquialisms and all that stuff, so that we can have, all these alternatives.
Istanbul was Constantinople. Yeah.
But that's like
it's like a word meaning the city. So like, that.
But that's the thing is like
the episode title.
Being able to communicate efficiently, I have all respect for, no question. But like, it's the same idea when people who don't want to swear because they're like, oh, swearing is bad. Fine. But when they sub it out with something else. So like I saw a guy who was playing golf in like a driving range, like an electronic one. And every time he wanted to swear, he kept on saying pickles. And I'm like, we all know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And I respect.
Sound,
yeah,
right?
it's 100%. You're like, yeah, that's fine. But like, if he just made up a word, and I'm like, no. You can sub out another word and sound okay. You can communicate your frustration without swearing. But if you just make something up, absolutely not.
Katie does that with her students, where she like if someone drops something, she goes, "Oh, potatoes," and then like she just started saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
which
kids
is good.
She does it. Yeah.
And also, too, though, you kind of want to watch some kid do something bad and go potatoes, and then the parents go, "What the fuck just happened?"
It's not a curse. You're fine. Yeah.
I mean, like, how are you going to get mad at them, right? It's one of those.
It's
things.
Adorable and hilarious.
I mean, a little bit.
That's what I love about euphemisms. You know what I'm saying? It can be so funny. Just the whole idea of them, because what's being said and then what's happening in your mind as you translate that for yourself. I love it. I love it.
There's this guy who keeps popping up in my YouTube Shorts feed, and he's got the most annoying voice and the most punchable face, but he says the most interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Jedithias Robinson. Yes, you can get a shout out if you like and subscribe.
All of our channels.
A quid pro quo, I suppose.
Jedithias Robinson. Yeah. I mean, that is a unique name.
I think it was just a test to see if you could see.
I mean, a little bit.
Maybe? Jedi.
I mean, regardless, like I tried to tell somebody that the whitest name I've ever heard was Bill Billiamson, and someone was like, Bill Billiamson. I'm like, that guy is almost clear. He's so white.
There was a guy in my college who was named Smith Frank. So he had a last name, first name, and a first name, last name.
Oh, shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've ironically said stuff enough times that it becomes my vocab. Yeah, you get like just little phrases and stuff. Like I said sweet zombie Jesus from Futurama enough times that I just say it now.
I feel like that is a step up from just Jesus fucking Christ, Sweet zombie Jesus. Very eloquent, very demure. I like it,
There's another one.
How dare you be upset with skibidi if you're going to use this bastardization of demure?
Oh, I did it for the word of the day one time, and I'm like, you guys are using it all wrong. It's supposed to be like, reserved and very, and then they quit using it because I have it on the wall now. So good enough.
I like, that's the other thing. And like Atlas explained that if you want somebody to stop using something, just make an old person say it, and then kids just immediately stop. And you're like, there's an advantage to be old and uncool. You're like, it's all skibidi in here, and watch them go, oh fuck no, absolutely not.
Which was the style at the time.
Exactly. I had a lemon in my shirt, which was the style. You're like, that's a weird thing.
I think so. Like one of the new words is rizz. You guys know about rizz, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Number one, I don't know what that is. I don't have moves.
We have an episode of this show called Tiz Rizz with Nina Dicker. So we know what it means. It's also the only word that I can think of besides fridge for refrigerator, where the abbreviation is in the middle instead of like at the beginning or end.
Refrigerator, yeah.
Refrigerator, charisma.
Interesting.
That's all I can think of.
No. But this is the thing, is like when I feel like some abbreviations make no sense though, right? And that's where I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. Rizz, I'm like, sure.
All of the acronyms they shove down your throat as a teacher.
Oh,
I'm gonna walk into the ocean, man. I can't at this point.
I worked at a bank, 100%. The acronyms you're going, why? Like, it's not only that the acronyms aren't universal for all banks. So I'm like, oh, we have our own acronyms, and then you have to figure out other acronyms. So people would come from other banks to be like, oh, that's what we used to call it. And I'm like, you've changed jobs. Get over yourself. Just learn. Okay. Just learn and be better. I can't. And now we have learning here. Rizz is short for charisma. Yeah.
Yes.
I said that. Yeah.
No, I know you did. I'm saying I believe he was like, shit, I didn't know.
Oh, I said something to my daughter, like, I put that rizz on him, and she died. She was like, oh no. Like, to your point, she was like, I'm never going to use it again. I never want to hear you say that word.
Perfect.
I think the funniest part about being married to Katie is that I'll like say a dad joke or something, and she's like, ew, you're uncool. I'm like, you're 6 months older than me. Like, you don't get to do that. We're both uncool. It's fine.
There you go. I feel like that.
In New Orleans, when a younger man dates an older woman, usually it's like a couple of years, but they call the older woman a settler. So if you want to get on her nerves, tell her you could be her juvie, and she could be your settler, your older lady that's ready to settle down.
Which is funny because the last time we did karaoke, my sister-in-law did a song from the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and I'm like, oh, that's fun. So I jumped on the train and did Settle For Me, which is to Katie. And she was like this the whole time. And I was like,
yeah, that's fair. I feel like that's the best part about marriage is you can embarrass your wife and they still have to go home with you because it's contractual. You're like, sorry.
And I did it because I love you and because it makes me laugh.
Absolutely.
The Roger Rabbit rule of living.
I mean, it's fair. It's reasonable. That's like there's I don't know. I find that as I get older, it's more so that I've definitely gotten more comfortable with who I am as a person.
Yep, same.
I'm not a real person, but you know what I mean. So
okay, I have a question.
Hit me.
Okay, it's kind of random, change of subject. So I just finished a bunch of wedding shenanigans. My very best friend, just got married. Found her guy, all that good stuff. We had 3 nights of bridal partying.
Tomfoolery.
Wow.
Yes, tomfoolery. We had a schmiggity blast. I just made that one up. You can use it anytime. I'm
going to use that instead of
I'm a word
when the kids are saying skibidi.
Makes up schmiggity blast. It was magnificent. It was
wonderful.
What was your favorite pre-wedding celebration, like on the guy's side? I don't ever get to be on the guy's side of the pre-wedding shenanigans. Did you guys do anything prior that you enjoyed that you can publicly discuss?
So that's the rule, is anyone who talks about the bachelor party, the bachelor party can legally kill them and eat them. That's the rule. You're not allowed to talk about that. But like it's worse because then we all have to eat them. I'm like, that's horrible. I don't want to do that. But yeah, but at the same time, like Atlas played Monopoly for 3 days. I don't know. He played Risk, whatever. He's not.
It's Settlers of Catan, and you know it. No.
That's fair. That's fair.
I hate Settlers of Catan. It's just being like, hey, can you give me this stuff? No. Okay, can you give me this stuff? No. And then my sister loves it for some reason. Sorry.
It's all right. I have an Asian wife. Trust me. I walked in on Settlers of Catan. I'm like, no. I play Risk. Okay. I want violence. I don't want settlers. I want to conquer. So yeah,
I like Risk. So the actual bachelor party. So I guess this gives the right of my.
There you go.
That sounds like a fantastic way. Of my 2 brothers-in-law and my friends who were there to kill me. But we did kind of like a rapid fire of like batting cages and then an escape room together, which was really fun. And then had dinner. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great time.
Like a general guys' night. We're just gonna hang out.
Yeah. And then actually being at the wedding, I didn't really get to, screw around too much because it's like, oh, be with your bride, and then she kicks you out the morning of because you can't see each other till the wedding starts. Mm-hmm. So I spent the morning with my dad. We walked to the Denny's near the Madonna Inn and just hung out for a few hours. Love you, Dad.
Like, see, that is the one thing is like I enjoy going out in general, just to like go out. I'm like, oh, you want to go dancing? Yeah, let's go dancing. That's fine. My problem is the other people there that don't know how to control themselves. And I'm like, that's my only problem, because we've all met people. People are the worst. 0 stars. Absolutely not. Right. I don't want to. And that's why I'm like,
that could be another episode or another just title for this podcast. People are the worst. 0 stars.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, that's it. I definitely like that. But that's the weird part is that like, I find like it's the same thing. Like, I love music. We went to go see Elton John in Manchester last year, and it was super awesome. The only problem is I love concerts. I do not like people who go to concerts because they sing along, and that can get fucked. Because I paid to watch the fancy guy sing, not your dumbass that's singing off key the entire goddamn time. Not interested. And that's why I'm like, it's, and then, you know, see people who are like, oh yeah, let's go to the club. Great. And they're like, I'm just gonna get drunk and flop around and throw up. You're like, that's not a fun time. No, I want to go. I want to listen to music. I want to dance, have a couple drinks, enjoy myself. That's a fun time. But then, you know, people are perverts and horrible, and you're like, I don't want to hang out with them. That's why like the idea of having establishments that are like, oh, you have to be over the age of 19 to get into a bar. Reasonable. But also certain bars, I think there are a couple bars in the city that you have to be over the age of 25 to get in. And they're like, no, you're not allowed in. And they're like, oh, but I'm over 19. 25? They're like, 25. There are others that are 30. And the whole idea is that I don't want to deal with young people shit. It's that simple, which I'm like, oh, it's fine. Hey, what's up, Joey? And Dino, you don't like music. I love music, and I have a very unique, listen, if anyone wants to see my music, I have a playlist on my YouTube channel, which you're happily to sign on for and subscribe. And it's called Music That Slaps, and I add good music from YouTube onto that. That's what I listen to when I'm in the shower and things like that, or when I'm playing video games. And it's very fantastic. I enjoy it thoroughly.
I love music, but I too hate concerts. I don't like it when the singers sing some alternative version of the song that I love the most, because I feel like that's what always happens. It's the song that I want to hear them sing the way that I sing it in the shower, and we sing it because I do sing at the concert, so don't sit next to me at the concert.
100%.
I don't enjoy when they want to like remix it and change it up and mix it with another song, like,
or even worse, this.
Yes, I didn't come here to sing. You sing. So I too prefer to stay at home. I also I'm getting older, and so it gets too loud. It's too much noise for me. I prefer an outdoor concert where the sound can like dissipate more. An indoor concert, I can't do it.
Much like bird watching, an orgy, or college, I feel like concerts are a thing you just go to say you went. Like,
oh yeah, no, that's true. I think this Letty's like, that's not legal and discrimination. I feel like that's a fine thing. I would happily take that ticket. Like, look, I have a bar, and we don't know bald men or gorillas. Look, bald men or gorillas, I qualify as both, and you couldn't keep me out, sir and or ma'am. That's simple. Because I can make my own Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah, right through the wall. That's factual. And yeah, see, Cole, no, you don't. You bought. I like music. I love music. I just like weird music because I'm a weirdo. I don't like when the singer yaps about silliness or is late to the show. Cough, MGK, cough. He is not a real person. Let's be fair.
I'm okay with them like talking in between songs, like while they're like, oh, we're changing out equipment or something. Like, you're an entertainer, fine. But yeah, late to the show is annoying, for sure.
Right.
Atlas, how many times have you been to orgies or bird watching? 0 and -2, respectively. It's okay to sing along for the concert. That's what it's for. Again, I think when it's loud enough, you can't really tell. I know for things like the Wicked movie that's coming out soon, there's some theaters that are like, if you sing, we will kick you out.
I hope they do keep people out because they're gonna sound like that Target commercial.
Yeah.
Where that guy's singing off key and nobody wants to hear that shit.
They need to have a thing that's like you can sing in this one, you can't sing in this one. That
is like the bane of my existence when people talk in the movie theater. I hate that shit.
Me too.
Like when you can talk in the beginning during the commercials when
but as soon as Nicole Kidman shows up at the AMC, you shut the hell up.
Yeah, man. And she's taking her fucking coke and the lights go down. Shut up. Like I hate that.
What about the trailer?
Whisper.
Which one?
For the trailers, what's your policy?
You can talk during trailers. You can talk during trailers. It's so bad, I will leave the movie and I will go and get the usher. And
absolutely.
I will tell
this is like the one. So we started going to a theater, Liz. That's it's a half hour out. So we're like right on the border of like literally if you cross the street, you're no longer in Toronto proper, right? So we found a theater that's a little further out of the city. But it's just all highways about half hour away, and all the seats are recliners. Every seat is a recliner, and I'm like, there's space between everyone. It's much better, and even if somebody does talk, other people because it's outside of the city, people are like, "Hey, shut the fuck up, or I'll kick your ass," and they're like, "Oh, sorry," and you're like, "Poop, that's exactly what I want." Because when you're in the city, people are like, "It's my right to talk. I paid for a ticket." You're like, "It's your right to shut the fuck up."
That's very un-Canadian of them. All of this.
Canadians aren't. See, this is a misdemeanor. We are polite. We are not nice. They're two very different. We'll punch you in the face and go sorry.
Okay, so that's like the South, kind of, right? Polite, not nice, versus nice, not polite.
Yeah, well, it's mostly the East Coast because the South is brutally mean, right? Just from one phrase alone. Well, look, bless your heart. Because God didn't bless you with any brains. You're like, Jesus Christ, that is so mean. Because it sounds like
is that the full?
Yeah,
is that the full thing?
That is the full thing. Is bless your heart is because God didn't give you any brains. Let's hope.
Okay, so it's like where the customer is always right.
In matters of taste.
In matters of taste.
Yeah.
The blood is thicker than water. Blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Where things fall off and then it means something different.
And it's completely been miscommunicated. Canadians are all stoned from mail order wheat. That's factual. That is actually true.
My wife is currently watching Degrassi: The Next Generation. So anytime something hilariously Canadian happens, we have a good laugh about it. Anytime someone says sorry or
in my heart, earlier you said oat, and I've been holding on to that shit. I'm gonna be laughing at that.
Listen. Whenever
let that shit in my mind for like 2 minutes now, oops.
This is so I got into an argument. A friend of mine had friends from Oklahoma, and they're like, "You talk funny," and I'm like, "You talk funny. You're from Oklahoma." And she was like, "You say about weird," and I'm like, "How do you say it?" They're like, "About." I'm like, "There's only one A in about," and she's like, "No, it's about." I'm like, "No, it's about," and she's like, "No, you're saying it weird." I'm like, "No, I'm saying how it's properly spelled. You're a country bumpkin." And she got so mad, but she was ugly, so I didn't care.
You know what you should have said? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, so or she's saying you're saying about wrong. It's about, not about, and you're like, you say Oklahoma with way too many O's. It's only one, only the one at the beginning, not Oklahoma. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
When I first moved to Cali, I was working in this office, and I was working with this company doing freelance business stuff, consulting. And anyway, one of the guys that I was working with, we were talking about him eating all this food, and I was like, "Oh my God, if you don't get your heart checked, I'm gonna have to call the ambulance." And they went, "The what?" Fell out the ambulance. What? Say it again. And I was in the heat of the moment, my southern accent just really came out. So it was like ambulance, and I was just like, "Oh my God, they would not let me go for so long."
The most stereotypical Canadian thing Dino says is about our
vowels.
Oh, it's 100%. Listen. So Dino will catch you with a boot every once in a while. That's true. That's a boot is So if somebody really is like, "Oh, you're Canadian," I'm like, "Yeah, no do to boot it," and they're like, "Oh, that's Oh my God.
Around here, we don't make a point of saying we got nothing to hide if we really got nothing to hide.
I love Terrence and Philip.
They're the best. Now, to be clear, I do say buddy, but I do not say my guy. I just say guy.
Yeah,
Okay?
and I've picked that up from you. I say that in my everyday life too.
Because I'm like, look, I'm like, guy. So this is the thing. Is growing up okay. The best part is people are like, you can't say guy. I'm like, yes, I can, because guy is actually derived from Guy Fawkes. So it was a group of people, no gender, and they were just all troublemakers or rabble rousers, as you would say. So I'm like, hey, what's up, guy? Why you're a troublemaker? That's fine. But my guy,
we're 5 days removed. But remember, the 5th of November.
Cole in the chat says he's Southern. He doesn't pronounce the T in about. And I was gonna say we add an A, so it's an I'm about to. I'm about to. It's not just I'm about to do whatever it is, so they become the one word.
See, he said that, and my wife picked up, and I'm like, yeah, to me that's abu. It's not a bow. Yeah.
If there's anything that Texas got right, like in anything, it's y'all, because y'all is just like
you all
so effective to referring to a group of people. Y'all,
100%.
Dr. Pepper, the end.
So hilariously, I've had Dino doesn't say wash. What the hell does wash mean? That's you mean wash?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
Does he say potatoes? Oh, potatoes.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. Yeah. Do you say water? Okay, this was weird. How we were watching, I think it's Mindhunter, and they were explaining how they figured out where someone was from because of the way they said water, because it's wader, like WADDER, like in New England type area, which I'm like, that is in English. That's fine. But yeah, it's very wash. Water. Yeah, no, it's a very, that's why you're like, water is very nondescript. And that's the hilarious thing, is that people in Toronto specifically, not anymore, but how it used to be, was known for a non-accent. It's very, because you want to not sound Canadian and be like, no, right? Yeah. So you just have to pronounce everything very well. And I would like a glass of water, you know?
I'm still struggling with oil. Earl is what I want to say all the time. We need some Earl. We need cooking Earl. We need. And one of my good friends, she messes with me about it, but she won't say the R in furniture, so it's furniture. So I told her I'll take the R out of oil when she puts it in furniture, and we can.
I mean, it's a substitution. It's fair. It's about balance. It's about balance. Totally reasonable.
Wait, so you pronounce oil like Earl?
Yeah, like Earl. We need Earl in the car.
Yeah.
Get some Earl in the car.
Yeah. You know the kind of guy who does nothing but bad things and wonders why his life sucks? Let me get through this. Well, that was me. Every time something good happened to me, something bad always waiting around the corner. Karma. That's when I realized I had to change. So I made a list of everything bad I've ever done. And one by one, I'm going to make up for all of my mistakes. I'm just trying to be a better person. My name is Oil.
That's actually pretty funny.
Okay.
I
had to. I'm sorry.
It took me forever to change my way of pronouncing water to water. I mean, it's fair. You ever heard someone from the Delmarva Basin say carrots is currits?
Currits. Okay. I mean, like
this is the thing is, like, my wife was born in the UK, and I'm like, the UK will have one accent for one neighborhood, and 100 yards that way is a different accent, and it's messed up, right? So like it's so much more so people don't realize how distinct it can be just from a neighborhood, right? Like it's
sure.
And especially when you're in the States, like the States is weirdly congested in some parts, but then like so open where you're like, you'll be driving on the highway where there's absolutely nothing and there's 30 houses and then nothing again, which I'm like, and those people will stay in a 10-mile radius for their whole life. And you're like, I don't understand how that works.
I always feel kind of bad because it's like, what do you do?
Live. That's the one thing we're realizing is you don't a good life is not measured by achievements. It's measured by experiences and enjoyment, right? Like that's what we always forget. So you say, "Well, don't mix with water."
Well, in New Orleans, we'll say, "Earl, don't mix with water, baby." That Earl not gonna mix with that water. It's not gonna do it.
We're all just blocking the street. Katie says she wants to move to New Orleans when we retire, and I'm like, do we want?
Okay, that means you all have to get like good guns. You have to have a lot of guns to be safe in New Orleans. That's.
I'm just gonna be walking around being like, my name is Raymond.
You don't have to get a gun. We hand them out when you cross the state line.
Jesus.
It's part of your welcome package. Yeah, that's fine.
Roll your window down, and we're gonna throw it in. Right in, and you just
yeah. I mean, that's wholesome.
Food's really good,
yeah, the food is incredible. That's I always
make sure your health is in order when you come down here because
it's gonna go downhill immediately.
My health is never in order. I'm epileptic and I take pills for it. So.
Well, you don't struggle here because everybody down here look like they're going through some shit like this. They might not know when you're having a problem.
Atlas does look like the swamp people. I want to try something. I'm gonna go get the little banjo lick from Deliverance and just play it when my kids come in. Let's see what happens.
I mean, you need like a long straw just sticking out, like a piece of straw hanging out while you're playing. Ding 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 ding, and just watch them just turn around.
Banjos, right? That's the name of the song.
Let's see here. My mom's from. So Liz, I think you'll have fun with this. Is every time I say New Orleans, and they're like, "Don't pronounce it like that," and I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "It's Nolans," and I'm like, "It's not. It's New Orleans. I don't care." And you can call it whatever you want. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't fucking matter. So
wait, what is it, Liz?
It's New Orleans. So I'd say like or and then lens, like glasses, like the lens of your glasses. If you say New Orleans, then you're saying it the way people in New Orleans say it. Now, will we ironically say, we in New Orleans because we think about the people who are not from here who say that? Mm-hmm. We'll say it from time to time, but it's usually like in irony or fun or something like that. But on the regular, it's New Orleans, not New Orleans. Kind of like New Orleans.
It's like the people outside of New York who say the Big Apple or New York City. You can just say New York or the city, right? But the LA version of that is people who say Los Angeles, like drawn all the way out, or people who say Cali. It's SoCal,
right?
SoCal, NorCal, done. Like,
I think I.
That's like saying I'm from New Orleans versus I'm from Louisiana. If somebody says I'm from Louisiana, they're not from New Orleans.
Right.
If somebody's from New Orleans, they're gonna say I'm from New Orleans. But if somebody's from Louisiana, then they may be from anywhere else, but they don't want to say their city because they know you're not gonna ever have heard of that shit.
And not just that, but they're like, you're a criminal. That's why you're definitely. If you're like, I'm from Louisiana, you're a criminal. That's fine. I'm from New Orleans. You're a very good criminal. That's fine. It's
from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. It's all swamp.
Listen, and places to hide a body. Let's be honest. Of course, it's beautiful. There's lots of hiding spots. You just throw somebody out of the car.
I was telling my daughter the other day. I was so where I live. I actually live just outside of New Orleans in this little city, Slidell. And in between Slidell and New Orleans, you drive through like a little swamp area. Yeah. And you know how every once in a while you may see like a dead animal or something like on the side of the road. So the other day I literally saw like an alligator. There was a dead alligator on the side of the road. Somebody had hit it. And then they do that. They just come out from the swamp. They're like right there. It's real.
Oh yeah. So we used to drive down to Florida in like the 80s and 90s, and I'm like, there are parts of the highway you're like, the whole side of the highway is just covered in alligators, and you're like, yeah, that's terrifying. You're like, I'm not like that is like I want to fight one, but I'm not really.
Man, they are delicious. When you come down here, you try one.
I've had it. So there was a restaurant up here. There was a restaurant that had it up here, and I'm like, and I would get it. I'm like, it's good. It tastes like chicken and pork with no bones. I'm like, it's good. It's fantastic.
That does sound good. Like,
listen, it's the same way eel tastes like pork and fish in one, but the problem is eel has a ridiculous amount of bones, and I notoriously get hit with a bone every time, and I'm like, that's why I don't eat it, because it's ridiculous. But
we were talking, like some friends and I were talking about, like, what's the weirdest thing you've eaten? I've eaten centipede before at a restaurant, and it's kind of like the outside is like when you get orange chicken in a restaurant, it's got that crunch to it because of the exoskeleton, and then the inside, it's just like tofu. I think once you get over the idea of, centipede, eel, alligator, like just the idea of it, it's food.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
I think mine is termites. I went to Nigeria and they roast termites and put them in like a wine bottle.
Oh.
And you shake it out and eat it like snacks, like popcorn. Shit is delicious. They taste like almond butter.
Whoa.
They are so good. I tried it because I was there. You try it, and it was delicious. But it's one of the things you can't bring back.
No.
You're not allowed to bring that back. But that
I had chocolate covered ants before, and I'm like, that's fine. It's slow, crunchy. It's fine. Hold on. I'm derived from New Orleans people. That's why you're a criminal. That's fair. And are you guys watching the UFO congressional hearing? I mean, you mean the UFO congressional hearing held by aliens? No, I'm not. Why would I watch that? That's like watching. Yeah. Oh,
I'm watching the guy who didn't like musicals right now, and if it's anything like that hive mind that causes people to sing and dance, I'm going to stay out of it. I think.
I mean, this is the problem. Is that I think a lot of people have yet to realize that you're like, life goes on. You don't have to worry. People are like, "Oh, you're going to be involved in this?" No, I'm not. You know what? I have things to do on my own. I don't have to worry about anybody else. Life is hard as it is. You don't have to get involved in everything. That is just a free nugget of knowledge to everybody.
I won't say butterscotch pudding with a cigarette butt in it, Joey. That wasn't on purpose. That wasn't like a delicacy. That was just someone put a fucking cigarette butt in the butter.
I think the hard part is that it was Joey's cigarette butt that he put out in it and then continued to eat the butterscotch pudding. I feel like that's what happened because Joey's that kind of guy.
I feel like Victoria's comment is appropriate for a lot of conversation.
Did you at least eat around the butt? It's Buck.
That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. I don't know. I there's so much to unpack in that conversation, but what can you do? Yeah. I was gross in the 90s. Joey, you are still gross right now. Yes. Yeah. I took the butt out and ate around it. You didn't. You're just like, nah, it's all right. I need a filter on the inside too.
I was gross in the 90s. I was a small child in the 90s, so I was gross by default. So
no, that's fine. Yeah. Well, yeah, little children aren't gross.
Teenager.
Yeah. Me too.
Also gross, but in a totally different way.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's this picture of my dad holding my sister's hand. She's like 4. And then my mom holding me, and they're watching the slow motion Bronco chase with O.J. Simpson go by. And it's just like the back of them. I'm like, that's wow.
That is wild.
That's history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moment to capture.
Yeah. Well, because did your parents pay a dowry? No, they didn't, because I'm not exchanging her for political power. What?
3 goats and 1 camel, sir. Yeah, that is my final offer.
No.
Yeah. Kidding? That is still Greek custom. So
really,
yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Why not? Like after all is said and done, every place has its own customs and rules and things like that, right? And I feel like I always try and learn what those customs are, and also what are the faux pas, because I will make sure to do both, depending on who you are. Because I'm like, I want to see how angry I can make this person, and do everything wrong. Oh, they get mad. It's nice.
That's a real fox pass of you, Dino. That's.
I mean, that also too. Like, I am a firm believer that there should be a hotline that you're like, okay, so I'm looking at this word, I'm going to spell it out to you. I don't know how to pronounce it, and they pronounce it for you properly, because, like, some people will read, like, I'll be honest with you. I went to a hippie restaurant once, and I'm looking at the board. I'm like, what's quinoa? And they're like, it's quinoa. I'm like, no, it's quinoa. It's quinoa. I'm reading it right now. I can speak and read. I learned it when I was young. That's quinoa. They're like, no, it's quinoa. I'm like, no, it's not. You're pronouncing it wrong.
I went to get my hair braided by this lady, and there's different types of braids when you go to get the braids done. And
I'm well aware. It's
I'm sure you go so often, both of you guys. Oh my God.
Give me a couple months.
We're not going to go into that. I could send you down a pathway on Instagram and TikTok that'll blow your fucking mind. Anyway, but this lady, she was going through all the different types of braids that she does. And she said, yeah, I do this style called box braids. I do braids to the scalp. She said, I do everything but fox locks. And I was in the chair and I didn't say anything. And I just kind of just accepted it. And I was thinking about it. It took me about 2 hours later to realize that she meant faux locks, like faux dreadlocks.
Oh.
He called them
Fox locks.
Like I'm
Fox Pass.
Fox locks does sound cooler.
It does.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't know. So this is my problem, Liz, is when someone says something like that, my brain is yelling at me, be nice, but my face is going,
what the fuck?
Why are you stupid? And like it's not. I'm trying to get away from it, but God, man, my face does not lie. It just. Yeah.
I don't know what my face said. She was behind me braiding my hair. So I don't know if she had been on the other side.
Yeah, I mean,
well, wait, weren't you like in front of a mirror so she can see you?
I couldn't see her. She was doing my braiding in the back. When you get braids done, like extension braids, it takes several hours.
Gotcha.
You don't usually sit in the mirror. Well, it depends on where you go. Like a lot of people, this particular lady, she did the braids out of her home. Yeah. So we were just kind of saying, I was watching TV. And we were
Gotcha.
She was braiding my hair and telling me about all these types of the fox locks. And I just
let's see.
Did you correct her or did you just let it like
No, you're gonna let that joke boil. You just gotta let it hide. And you're not somebody says that, you just go, okay. I'm gonna keep that one in my
philosophy is, as an English teacher, though, I don't correct people unless I'm being paid. So
that's fair.
I don't correct grammar in public. I don't correct people's word misusage. I don't do any of that.
But Liz, I'm in the best shape of my life. I kind of want to fight somebody, so I'm like, I'll correct the shit out of you. I'll correct you wrongly just to see how you react to me because I'm a dick. But like that's one of those things where I can't. It's like today. Okay, I'll tell you. Right, we had to go pick up some stuff at a mall, and as I'm walking through, I see a guy who I would say a white guy. He may have been a little bit Middle Eastern, a little bit. However, he was wearing a matching jogging uniform that had just the writing Chicago, the Bulls on like in diagonally all over the pants and the top.
Okay.
And then he also had very, very neat and well done cornrows across the whole head.
Okay.
And I was just looking at him like, nope. No, you shouldn't be allowed to exist. You've made so many bad choices today, and I feel like he saw that on my face because then he was like, it just turned and walked into like a store away from me, and I'm just like, because I was looking at him going, why?
Okay,
why would you do that?
The only thing scarier thing scarier than standing in front of a castle and growling at people is standing in front of a castle and looking mildly disappointed.
Oh.
At people, they will turn and walk into the Victoria's Secret to get away from you.
100% accurate. That is 100% accurate. Dino, thanks. Yeah, Dino sounds tough, but don't let him fool you. He only goes to 5 places and 6 of them are movie theaters. That is not inaccurate. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. I met him in person, and I was like, "Whoa, you're tall." And I'm 6 feet tall.
It's. You know what? That's the funny thing is, people will always be like, "Oh, you're not that big," and I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And they're like, "No, we're basically the same." And I'm like, "No, we're not. It's fine. Don't worry."
He like both of you guys have that like the very tall, like your shadow is longer than you are. Your presence is bigger than who you are as a person, and he's already huge. So that's +7 or whatever.
Yeah, I get in trouble for that a lot because people are like, "You're too big," and I'm like, "I can't crouch. I don't know what you want me to do. I slouch. Is that helpful? It's not. Yeah. Come on."
I think people can see the crazy like behind the eyes.
I like it though. I feel like that's a way of letting them know, right, Liz? Like you say, "Hey, it's right here. This one can see into your soul. This one is wishing you died. It's fine."
Because it was really. I'm actually working on helping somebody develop a curriculum for like a classroom management course because part of what I do. And for me, we were talking about how like some of the things that we have are just like natural to us. And I don't know. I just, I can go up to a kid and just go, "Excuse me, is that really what you want to do with me right now? Is that really the way you want to conduct yourself?" And then everything changes. And then we don't have to worry that. Yeah. I don't know out there. I think I'm able to affect that tone that lets people know, "Hey kid, job Yeah. It came across to you. You got it. It came across. Okay.
It's for me. Oh, absolutely. For me, I love it when people are like, well, you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, no. Because I just go, oh, daddy likey. And they're just like, no. Because I'm like, yeah, I've been looking for a chance, bro. Don't even start with me. Right. 9 cookies, still a record. You betcha. And I'm coming back to eat 10, sir. That's I went to Joey's podcast in his house, and he so generously provided weed cookies, and his weed cookies are exceptionally strong. Now this is the problem is, as we all know, with a little bit of the marijuana, is you will get the munchies, which are best served by cookies and chips and things of that nature. The problem is Joey's weed cookies are delicious, and he didn't provide any other non-weed snacks, so I just kept on eating the cookies. And and then while everyone was watching, I started making this symbol. I'm like, save me, these people are monsters. It was great. Fine.
Oh, was that when I was there, or was that
no, that was another time. That was when okay. So I had to sign a waiver to be around my kids due to excess marijuana consumption. That's probably for everyone's best, but
he sounds like he's joking, but he's probably not joking.
Sorry,
Liz, thank you so much for coming on to Generation Dan.
My pleasure. Look, I thought we were going to be talking about the strippers from the bachelorette party, so we could do that next time.
I mean, they were just concerned with linguistics. Remember, kids, it's buck naked.
I'm sorry, and exotic dancers. We'll call
them. Of course.
We have to respect them these days. Exotic dancers,
aspiring university students. It's fine. It's good.
Where can people find and follow you and all that good stuff?
You can find and follow me at Real Delicious on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days. And all of your favorite social medias. That's where you can find me. I have a recent stand-up posted. You can check that out, and you'll be seeing more work from me soon.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Make sure to leave a like and a comment and tell your friends if this is what you like on Generation Dan. Follow us at Generation Dan, currently on Twitter and Instagram. That might not be around for much longer. We might be moving into Blue Sky soon for the Twitter part. But every stream every Sunday. Episode comes out on Friday. You can follow me at Atlas Novak, wherever social medias are found. I recently Thanos snapped my Twitter, and now I'm over on Blue Sky. Same handle there too. TikTok, Instagram, And how about you, Dino?
Hi to Australia. Michalio. That's a rough last name, bro. Everyone, it's right here. Dino the Genetic Marvel. If you want to know why I go by Dino the Genetic Marvel, you can check out some of my stand-up, which is on my YouTube. I am recently fully monetized on YouTube because I'm better than most people. That's fine. I accept it as it is. But as well, if you're not going to Google me, then we're not going to be friends. And trust me, I am the coolest. So by all means, please check it out. I have been getting to do more stand-up. So my wife has so generously offered. She comes and she records me. So now I just have a bunch of sets that I need to upload. And
that's nice.
Well, the thing is, like, it's a 25-minute set, and I'm like, I don't want to load the whole thing, but then I'm like, I got to go through and watch myself, which I absolutely despise doing.
I hate it.
Because I'm like, I make a lot of jokes at my own expense, and I'm like, oh, look at this fat piece of shit. And it's not a good experience. At least when I'm on stage, I'm watching people laugh, and I'm like, at least they're laughing. It's good. But check out my stuff. We also have tomorrow we have Life of Giants happening. Wednesday we are doing Hammered in Cheese, and I believe we have a guest is Kelly Zemnekis, who is local to me. I have seen her in real life, and we're going to be cooking things, so it's always exciting. But
Isn't
also,
it Tuesday, Hammered in Cheese?
What did I say?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. That's fine.
Okay.
Everything has blended into, like, now that I don't have a job technically, I have no I have to ask people what day is it. I'm like, is it Saturday? Everything's blending. I don't know. It's very confusing, but. Yeah, come check me out, everybody. And if you don't, that makes you a bad person. Just so you know, if you don't check me out, you're a bad person, and God won't love you. That's your go. Or you're non-God.
That is the word of the Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye, folks.
All right, hold on. There we go.